Okay, before we actually open Final Cut Pro, there's a few things we need to do um, in terms of creating folders behind the scenes on the hard drive. It's basically to do with file maintenance and keeping all your work in one destination so it can be easily locatable. This is particularly important if you're working at Griffith University in the learning centres as part of the Interpretations of New Media course, or Digital Art and New Media. Those computers shut down every night, and everything gets deleted that is not in the student files folder. So we have to tell Final Cut Pro every time we open it, or every time we capture footage into the program, to send all the files to a particular place in student files. So we need to create a destination. When you open the Finder window, you'll notice at Griffith Uni under Macintosh hard drive student files destination, and hopefully you've got an external hard drive as well. So it's up to you to decide on where you're going to start your project. If you've got an external hard drive, I would just work straight into that. If you haven't, you'll have to work with student files. That just means you have to go to the same computer every week. If you've got an external hard drive, you can take that and plug it into any computer. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder in my external hard drive. Just replicate this in student files if that's where you're going. To do a new folder, I just right click inside the column where I want to create a folder, and then hover over new folder, left click. That creates a typable folder, a new folder. If you're in student files, I would suggest you type your name, and student number, just because, or simply because everyone else should be following that same format really. And then select that folder and then create a new folder inside your name, and we'll be a little bit more specific with this and call it Final Cut Pro Projects. Now that you've got your own student folder within student files, you could now use this computer and create new folders within it, not just your Final Cut projects, but for example, it could be your Photoshop files, etc. Maybe Word docs if you're doing your papers in here as well. So just treat it like your own personal space on the hard drive. I'm not going to need these two folders, so I can actually select one, and I think Command click on another one selects both together, and then if I go Command delete, it puts them both into the trash. Okay, so now we're kind of ready for to open Final Cut Pro. What will happen is there's a whole lot of settings that we need to do in the program that will send everything into this folder when we capture video, etc., and for all the savings and all the other settings that actually operate Final Cut Pro. They're currently set to the default settings of the program, and which means that they're actually going to a random place on the hard drive here, and the unfortunate thing about that is it will get deleted every night at Griffith University. If you're working from your home computer, then you don't really need to do all these changes because the files will all be able to be found. They won't be deleted, certainly, but this is good practice to make sure that you know how the program's actually operating behind the scenes and that you can easily find where everything's going to be. later on if you actually need to actually get the original footage that you captured. Okay, so the next tutorial we'll open Final Cut Pro and make all those settings